I want to talk about a couple tips to help you make that great impression and how to get noticed and then advance up the ladder. So the number one thing, of course, this is pretty straightforward, but make sure you arrive on time to the job. Make it a habit, because obviously not everyone does this, and those who do, they will stand out. Okay, so management will notice that punctuality is always important, because think about it, one person missing from the team is going to slow everyone else up, right? And it means your co-workers have to fill in for you. It means you miss important information or updates. So if you can even be early, that's always a best practice, so you can jump right into the job. And number two, you want to be flexible. So again, flexibility is a key word around here. So it's not unusual that your boss or your company is going to ask you to do something above and beyond your job description, maybe work additional hours or in a different location. So you need to be prepared for that. Be flexible about the times and the places that you need to work. Maybe you need to work extra time on special projects that, like I said, aren't part of your job description. They're not your strength. Maybe you've never done it before, but when you do so, you step forward for that, your boss is going to appreciate it, and then they're going to know they can count on you for bigger and better things. Okay, so that's important. So number three is attention to detail, being meticulous, especially with, say, preparation or cleanup. So you want to give your full attention to routine or mundane tasks, right? No matter how small they are, even if that's sweeping the floors, wiping down the counters, that might not be such an interesting job as compared to, say, driving around heavy equipment. But, it's key. These things are key to keeping operations running smoothly, and your boss will notice that you do your best work at all times. So that's why it's so important to pay attention to detail, okay? And let's see, the next one is number 4, asking questions, okay? So if you're asking good questions, especially if you don't understand something, a new task or a new technique, you need to try to find the time where you can talk to your supervisor and ask them about it. Don't be afraid. So if there's any kind of new tools or equipment you're unfamiliar with, make sure you know how it's best to use them, not only for safety reasons, but for efficiency as well, and not only because you'll be better at the job as a result. So ask questions, your boss is going to appreciate, and he or she's going to know that you are trying to enhance your knowledge. Always a great sign. So number 5, you want to be able to communicate effectively. So whether that is literally speaking in another language, say there's a lot of Spanish or other types of languages on the at the workplace, learn a few of those words, learn how to communicate, whether it's just saying hello or getting some of the technical knowledge down. But put in that extra effort, if you can build a relationship, it's a lot easier to interact with your coworkers. So observe how they like to act, how they like to interact rather. Maybe they like to talk as they work, or maybe they like to only do it on the break time, on the off time. So try to notice that, try to join in and keep conversations going. Just notice how they like to talk and try to respect that person's communication style, okay? And number 6 is being accessible, right? So make it easy for them to approach you and to talk to you both in and outside of the job. So be responsive when people want to ask you a question or share a comment. And then of course, little things like making eye contact, those are important. Try to react calmly when someone says something to you, even if it's a criticism or something negative. So try not to brush them off. And outside of work, here's another good point. Sometimes your phone's gonna ring, it's your boss or coworker. You might wanna consider answering the phone. Make sure you answer important phone calls. That's gonna send a great sign to your employers that you are serious and that you're dependable, okay? And number 7 is keep learning, keep up your knowledge, read about your work, industry news, journals, magazines, watch tutorials or interviews, say YouTube, find experts, like I said, YouTube, podcasts. These are awesome resources that will help improve your abilities and build your knowledge base. So that will be readily apparent if you do all these things. You have a great shot of moving up and making that entry-level job just a temporary stepping stone to something better. So.